All right. What is up? Today we are going to do the Nagabon pepper. So once a few more people jump in, we'll start talking about it. We're going to eat it. We're going to see how much it hurts, see what it tastes like, all that good stuff. All right. So let's see. All right. Pop the chat out. All right, I see we got Denny in here. What's going on, Denny? So the Nagabon, which is what this is. This is a cross between a Naga Jolokia or a Boot Jolokia, ghost pepper. There's about 8 million different names. And the Scotch bonnet, hence Naga Bon. What's up, Aiden? Denny, getting that pickled banana pepper going on? Good, good. So this was a cross that was actually an accident as well. Down in Australia, the Hippie Seed Company sent a bunch of seeds for, I believe, just regular ghost peppers, and then some of them started pumping out this weird shape. This guy named Neil at the chili factory, I guess, came back and was like, "Hey, my ghost peppers don't look right." And then, sure enough, they found out that it was a cross between a Scotch bonnet and a Buchalokia. So this one, you can see it's kind of got this orange hue to it, unlike a ghost pepper, which is more red, deep red. And this is one of the typical shapes you'll see. There are some other ones that are kind of, more bonnet shaped, but the color is going to be this kind of reddish orange. Similar, actually, color is this Dorset Naga, which is still ripening, still getting that deeper red as it gets more orange on the tip. But you can see the difference in contours, right? So the Dorset Naga has this very, very bumpy texture, tends to have kind of a tail to it, whereas the Nagabon is very smooth for the most part. In fact, I think all of them online were very smooth. The other thing to note, which is interesting, is when you're identifying peppers, if you look here at the calyx, which connects to the stem, that's this like cap part. This one tends to split generally into 3 pieces. This particular one, I guess, is 2, but a lot of times it'll split so that you'll see 3 distinct kind of like, leaf sections, kind of 3 distinct sections, really. Like I said, this one's only split into really 2 sections, but usually it'll be 3. Whereas with this one, if you look at the calyx, you can see it doesn't have any splits at all. In fact, it has this nice, like, looks like a pentagon shape to it. So something else to just note, you've got different calyxes. Some bleed up the stem, some just split, some don't split at all. Some have more of a cap kind of structure to it where it kind of caps the top. It's just going to depend on the variety of the pepper. So it's just another way to identify things. This pepper is not crazy hot. It's supposed to be less than a ghost, but more than a Scotch bonnet. Generally, when you have crosses, that's for the most part the case. Is the heat generally splits the difference between the 2 peppers. Now, you can have ones that maybe creep up a little bit more, but for the most part, you split the difference. And that's just the way most genetic things work, right? Is you talk about eye color, hair color, you look at the parents, and for the most part, it's either you have a very dominant trait where, a brunette and a blonde can make, a full brunette kid or a blonde kid or whatever, right? But sometimes, and a lot of times, you end up with something along the middle. And that's very true if you look at my own daughter. Her hair color is like dead in the center between us. Her eye color is dead in the center between us. And just the same way with genetics of peppers, heat tends to be in the middle, and you get a little bit of traits of both parents. So some of these claims about, like, the Carolina Reaper is a cross between a ghost pepper and a habanero, I call utter BS. I don't believe it whatsoever. the hotter peppers, sometimes you can get, when you're talking super hot plus super hot, that's when you get weird ones that can jump, right? Genetically. So like the Bootla, you've probably heard of the chocolate Bootla, is a cross between a 7-pot Douglas, which is very hot, and a Boot Jolokia, right? So the Douglas is already pretty high. So the ghost pepper is really there for adding different capsaicinoids, and it can be those combination of capsaicinoids that make the apparent overall heat feel hotter. So it's yeah, I don't know that we have really a good measure. Scoville heat units is really all we have to measure heat with, but if you go look up how it's judged, Scoville heat unit is a measure of perceived heat. It's not a measure of actual capsaicinoids. There's no chemical analysis being done, so it's not a very great unit of measure, because some burns, like a Fatali pepper, look up Fatali's SHU, it's like 800,000. But you eat a Fatali pepper, it's going to knock you on your butt because it's so quick and fast hitting. So it's I can talk all day about it, but basically, I think that the Fatalis are highly underrated in terms of the actual SHUs. Same thing with a lot of chocolate pods. Chocolate pods tend to get, SHUs that are the same as their red counterparts, but anybody on the internet will tell you that the friggin' chocolate pods tend to be hotter. I don't need to save seeds from this one just because I got plenty more on my plant outside, and they're starting to ripen well too. So no reason to save any. I'm just gonna pop a half a pod. Let's take a look at the inside. Not too bad in terms of how much placental tissue. It does run the full length. The walls are decent thickness, not super thin, not crazy thick or anything. Obviously, we see some oil pooling, but it's not crazy looking. Smell. I don't smell much other than just capsaicin, honestly. There's some freeness to it. Kind of got to dig around. Let's go the one with the stinger. For no reason. All right. Well, without further ado, here we go. Oh, I also have a little surprise after I eat this to help wash it down with. The burn came on quick. But not too starting to ramp up. Flavor wise, not really much fruit at all. Heat's starting to move to the back of the throat, side of my tongue, kind of hitting the tonsils now, kind of like rolling back. It's definitely still ramping. I don't know if floral is the right word for that. Just didn't have much flavor. It is hot. Like I said, it's like actually like all on the right side. Maybe it's just where I chewed it. My ears are about to pop. Yeah, kind of lighting up the back right. Heat wise is manageable for me. I'd give that on my scale probably a 5. The habanero is a 4. Jalapeno is a 1. About a 5, which is about in line with the SHUs. So this is a Hatch Chili Amber Lager. It's called Down the Hatch by Old Ox Brewing Company here in Virginia. They release this every year. It's a seasonal beer that they release whenever like the Hatch chili peppers come out. Oh, actually, that that made it worse. By the way, like came crashing back a little bit. I mean, trying to drink anything is not really gonna relieve. All it does is quench it for a second and then comes crashing back. So you just spread all those oils and just threw them all up and like toss them around to receptors that haven't had anything yet. So like all the ice cream, all the milk, all that crap, just don't even bother. Just ride it out. Yeah, the Hatch Chili festivals are coming up. Usually they're at the end of August, beginning of September. So you can go to like Wegmans around here. I think Publix out in the South does it. But they'll have like the big roasters outside. I highly recommend going up and I usually get like a case of Hatch chilies. And then I'll either smoke them or roast them or just straight dry them and then make powder out of them. But if you roast them, you can stick them in a bowl, put plastic wrap over them right after they come off the grill or the stove or whatever you use to roast them with. And that steam will help the skin just peel right off. And you peel the skin off and you take all those, they're kind of like wet at this point. You just vacuum seal them and freeze them and they'll last all year. So it's a great way to get like save a lot of peppers. They have great earthy flavor to them in a good way, earthy, like truffle. So yeah, definitely seek out Hatch chilies every year. They're great. And during the Hatch Chili Festival, Wegmans and stuff will have like Hatch chili salsa, Hatch chili beer. They'll have this usually. They have like Hatch chili cheese, like big wheels of cheese with Hatch chilies on it. They have like Hatch chili guacamole, like everything you could think of. Hatch chili pimento cheese. Oh, so good. Anyway, enough about Hatch chilies. The Nagabon overall, I mean, there's some flavor to it. Now I'm starting to get some fruitiness. I think it'd be good for powder, honestly. Especially if you're just trying to bump up heat levels because it's not floral, so I don't think you're going to get much floral, but it's just a good like heat bumper. I mean, honestly, what's funny is I'd prefer to have either a ghost pepper or a Scotch bonnet or them separately and mix in with a sauce or something than this. And it just happens. Like no cross is going to be perfect. But it's a cool looking pepper. I think it'll add nice color to sauces and add some good heat, but would be better pickled. But yeah, burn wise, not too bad. Not too bad burn wise whatsoever. It hit immediate onset, but like I said, moved to back right. I didn't get much of a lip burn, which is a good thing for me. I hate lip burn. I can handle throat burn all day, but that lip burn just drives me nuts. Anyway, so probably not tomorrow, but probably on Tuesday, maybe tomorrow, if there's time. We're going to do this, which is going to be a different experience than that little Nagabon. This is the Dorset Naga. We'll talk more about it tomorrow, but this is a pretty cool chili. Originally, this is basically the Bangladeshi version of a Buchalokia that was then stabilized and grown out in Dorset, UK, which is where it gets its name from. But pretty cool pepper. Yeah, it was. This is the Dorset Naga is one I did a long time ago. I also ate this. My brother and I split one, and we were vomiting in the bathroom for a while. So me and Nagas do not have a good relationship, but we'll see if it's better the second time around. But I just love the color and shape of this thing. It just looks cool. Yeah. Go on your Wegmans or whatever's website and see when they're doing the Hatch Chili Festival. It's usually like a week or over a weekend, and just grab all those roasted chilies. It's awesome. Yeah. I highly, yeah, that's a good point, Danny. Thanks for mentioning that. I recommend obviously eating something beforehand. I do not recommend drinking heavily before eating a spicy pepper. That is a recipe for vomit. That will come up just as spicy as it went down, and then it'll start the whole process over again. I just do not recommend drinking heavily before having pepper. A beer too, sure, but don't play beer pong and then eat a spicy pepper. Well, unless you lost at beer pong, then that's your own fault. But yeah, that was the Nagabon. So thanks everybody for sticking by, hanging out, and we'll see you tomorrow or Tuesday for the Dorset Naga. Later. Keep it spicy.